If I'm elected president, we are going to drain the swamp in Washington, D.C. When we win on November 8th, we are going to Washington, D.C., and we are going to drain the swamp.
Drain the swamp. You heard it again and again on the campaign trail for then candidate Trump in 2016. So let's look back at his first 2 years in office, because that drain seems to have been a little bit clogged. Scandals, conflicts, potential ethics violations, some of which forced key administration officials to resign. There was Tom Price, remember, whose short tenure as HHS secretary came to a close last September over criticism about his expensive taxpayer-funded private jets. Then he had in February Veterans Affairs Secretary David Shulkin forced out after controversy over his improper use of taxpayer dollars. In July, who could forget the cloud of ethics scandals that forced EPA Chief Scott Pruitt to finally call it quits around Independence Day? And then this month, Interior Secretary Ryan Zinke resigned under pressure with mounting ethics investigations on him. So that's a look back at 2018. Who's on Swamp Watch in 2019? Joining me now, one of our friends of the shows and Swamp Watch correspondent, de facto, Juliet Operin, Washington Post senior national affairs correspondent. And back with me, MSNBC contributor Betsy Woodruff, politics reporter for the Daily Beast, and Ken Vogel, New York Times political reporter. Juliet, thank you for being on this holiday week. And we wanted to bring you on because you've done so much reporting on, for example, Scott Pruitt, who is a feature of Swamp Watch on this show many times. What were your biggest Swamp Watch moments of 2018 for you?
Well, I think a couple of the big ones were when I reported along with my colleagues Brady Dennis and Josh Dawsey how Mr. Pruitt had sought to get multiple jobs for his wife, including possibly a Chick-fil-A franchise. I think that's really that, along with his efforts to seek possibly a used mattress from the Trump Hotel, are the things that certainly stand out. And then with Ryan Zinke, while again there are a number of things that generated headlines, when the Inspector General report came out talking about how he had violated the policy about his wife traveling in official government vehicles and then changed the policy to allow that to happen. Right. That's something that reverberated in the White House, as well as I think with readers and those of us who watch these things closely.
And Secretary Zinke had that exit interview over on Fox where he said, well, what was my wife supposed to do? Run alongside the car? That was his sort of defense of what happened there. Let me turn it around the horn here to Ken and Betsy. Your top Swamp Watch moments of 2018, when you look back on the year, what stands out to you?
For me, it's the Kushner family. The fact that Jared Kushner's sister in China pitched investors on $150 million and highlighted the fact that her brother was working in the White House. I think that just kind of epitomizes the extent to which the cozy relationships between administration officials and business endeavors have caused massive headaches for this administration.
Ken?
I got to go with Tom Price. That was sort of the first one.
Okay, technically 2017. I will say that. So not technically 2018. I'll let you get away with it.
But I'll just point out, across some of these scandals that we're talking about, from Price to Zinke to Pruitt, the unifying thread is just how small bore this stuff is. It's really like you're a cabinet secretary, you can't kind of sacrifice a little bit with the knowledge that once you get out, if you do a good job and aren't sort of forced out under a cloud, there will be riches waiting for you beyond anything that you could tap into from your perch inside the government. If Pruitt could have just sat tight, Pruitt will still do well. I'm quite sure. In fact, we've reported that he's talking to a number of energy producers about doing work for them. But to be able to step out of that role, you have sort of your pick of any job on K Street, your ability to make seven figures, and you don't have to worry about getting a used mattress or getting your wife a Chick-fil-A franchise at that point, because that's
you'll
the way
be rolling in nuggets
after
you're out. Yeah, Julia, biscuits. Let's look ahead to 2019 then, and I don't want you to tip your hand to all the reporting that you're going to do over the next year, but who are you looking most closely at? Who would you put on Swamp Watch for the year ahead?
Well, I think actually, as Betsy mentioned, I certainly think the Kushner family will still be the subject of scrutiny, as well as Trump's family more broadly. And I think one of the things is we have to see who fills some of these empty vacancies. I think, in the case of Tom Price, Alex Azar has been absolutely scandal-free. I wouldn't imagine that things would happen there, but we're still waiting to see, for example, in Interior, does David Bernhardt, Zinke's number 2, who worked as a lobbyist, does he step up and take that role? If he does, there's absolutely going to be scrutiny. And I think there'll be a lot of scrutiny now on how regulations ones are being created, maybe a little less so on cabinet members since they've learned from their predecessors.
Yeah, and one person who might have learned over the last year that we'll be looking at, too, Ken, is Ben Carson over at HUD and Betsy here. There's been a series of headlines about his sort of spending, et cetera. He's defended that, obviously. Doesn't seem to be in any jeopardy of losing his job, right, at this point. But he's somebody who could be potentially put on Swamp Watch in 2019.
Another one who couldn't resist the office redecorations. This seems to ensnare all these guys. I would put Trump's super PAC on Swamp Watch, both because it is paying out huge sums of money to some of these sort of former Trump consultants, Corey Lewandowski, who don't seem to be doing a whole lot for it, and then also because that's where we see the donors who are sort of most making an effort to curry favor with Donald Trump, making large contributions. We've seen Sheldon Adelson, for instance, get really quite a bit of special treatment from the administration and from President Trump in particular, making a pitch for him to get a license, a gambling license in China to President Xi. I think that's a place where we're going to be watching headed into 2020, where the influence and access is transpiring.
Quickly, Bets, what about you?
Matt Whitaker. It's a no-brainer. Acting Attorney General who previously worked for a slightly curious conservative nonprofit, making a ton of money doing work that was a little bit vague, and then additionally was connected to a company that's drawn scrutiny from federal prosecutors. The fact that he's now the chief law enforcement officer in the United States raises some, lines for reporting.
Eyeballs on all of those folks. What a great conversation. Betsy Woodruff, Ken Vogel, stick around. We'll talk to you in a sec. Juliet Alperin, come back again soon in the new year. Thank you so much. We will be right back with what our sources are saying in today's big picture. Thank you for checking out our YouTube channel. Why don't you subscribe? It's really easy. Just click on that button down there. And for more news from MSNBC, click on any of these videos here for the latest interviews and highlights. You can get more videos from MSNBC with our newsletters. Head over to msnbc.com/newsletters to sign up.